Black man, can we talk to you for a minute, man? Can we read the Holy Scriptures, man? Come hear about the law, statutes, and commandments, man. Yeah, come over here, man. What's your name, man? What's your name, brother?
Lee.
Lee, that's a strong name, man. Where you from?
I'm from Atlanta, man.
From Atlanta, that's a good black city right there. What's your nationality?
Shit. Black?
Lost ass nigga, man.
Oh,
you see what I'm saying? Yo, get these niggas is lost out here, man.
That's right.
Give me Ezekiel 45.
Ezekiel
7:45. Give me Ezekiel.
That's right.
Get that goddamn poison out your mouth, man.
That's right.
That's what's wrong with the black man, putting that goddamn poison in your body, man.
That's right.
That's what's wrong with you, man. We talk about the word. That's what's wrong with you niggas,
Got his
man.
head covered
and
too,
take
man.
this goddamn madness off your
That's
head,
right.
man.
Got his head covered,
We talking
man.
about the word, man. Law,
Listen to
statutes,
the word,
and
man.
commandments,
Got his head
man.
covered,
That's
man.
right. Listen up, man. Don't ever take your eyes off the Most High, man.
That's right.
The Most High is going to kill your ass. You know what? Read the scripture, man. Shut the fuck up and read the scripture at the same time. Read and shut the fuck up. Read it.
That's
See?
right.
7:45, man.
Matthew 12, verse 36. This is Yahushua speaking in red letter. But I say unto you that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give account thereof in the day of judgment. First, I want to say, call Allah, all glory, honor, and praises due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Kakadash. I want to give double honors to my elders and apostles of Great Millstone who teach and rule well. And I want to say peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. So, all these people, mocking the prophets, making skits and mocking the prophets and what they have to say, they're going to have to give an account of that on the day of the Lord when judgment hits, especially, in Jacob's trouble, when all hell is breaking loose. Every idle word will be used against them. Every idle word will be used against everyone in the day of the Lord. So it's wise, just keep your mouth shut if you don't, know anything about the scriptures or about the prophets. But, 2/3 won't get it. And the heathen nations won't get it either because they weren't meant to get it. So they're just going to continue to mock until Yahweh Ba'ashem Ashai comes in like a thief in the night and puts that harsh judgment upon them. This is 2 Peter 3, verse 3. Knowing this first, that there shall come in the last days scoffers, walking after their own lusts, and saying, where is the promise of his coming? For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of creation. So, that's how the 2/3 of the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, the Israelites, the chosen nation of Yahweh Ba'ashem Ashai, 2/3 of our people, that's how they're acting like. And the heathen nations, they're saying, where's the coming of Messiah? Where's the coming of Yahushua? Not realizing that Yahweh Ba'ashem Ashai blinded them and put them in a trick bag, because if you have the eyes to see where we're at in prophecy, in 2nd Ezra, it says, pretty sure 9, 2nd Ezra, chapter 9, pretty sure, it says to measure the time thou diligently, and the hopeful elect. We're measuring the time diligently. So we know we're at the end of this age, the end of this world, and Yahweh Shai is going to return with the 144,000 to rule over this earth and have all the heathens in subjection. Verse 5, for this they willingly are ignorant of that by the word of power, the heavens were of old, and the earth standing out the water and in the water, whereby the world that then was, being overflowed with water, perished. So, like it was in the days of Noah, the first death was by the flood, but the second death is going to be by fire, by ICBM missiles. And 2/3 of our people in the heathen nations won't see it coming until, it's in front of their face. Verse 7, but the heavens and the earth, which are now by the same word, are kept in store, reserved unto fire against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men. So the second death is going to be those ICBM missiles, the lake of fire, where Babylon the Great is utterly destroyed, overkilled with ICBM missiles. And, anyone who took the mark of the beast, they'll be a part of that second death in the lake of fire with those ICBM missiles hitting it on Babylon the Great, America. Second Peter 2, starting, let's start at verse 10. But chiefly, Salaki, let's start at verse 9. The Lord knoweth how to deliver the godly out of temptations and to reserve the unjust unto the day of judgment to be punished. Verse 10. But chiefly them that walk after the flesh and the lust of uncleanness and despise government, presumptuous are they, self-willed. They are not afraid to speak evil of dignities. So these scoffers and mockers, they're not afraid to speak evil of things that are with honor. And when you go toward dignities, it means dignity. Well, let me highlight it. Okay, it means dignity, privilege, honor, worth, worthy, proper, fitting. Yeah, well, let me highlight it, but yeah, you see the definition right here. So dignities are basically something that's honorable, that's worthy, They're speaking, the scoffers and mockers are speaking evil of Yahweh Shem Hashai's men, which you're not supposed to do. That's going to be a great judgment upon your own head if you speak ill of Yahweh Shem Hashai's men. Because if you speak bad about Yahweh Shem Hashai's men, you're speaking bad about Yahweh Shem Hashai himself. And going to verse 11, whereas angels, which are greater in power and might, bring not railing accusation against them before the Lord. So even the angels know better not to speak evil of the men of the Lord. Verse 12, but these, as natural brute beasts, made to be taken and destroyed, speak evil to things that they understand not, and shall utterly perish in their own corruption. So, the scoffers and mockers, they speak evil of what they don't understand, because Yahweh Shem Hashai rejected them and didn't give them the understanding of the scriptures. So when they see the men of the Lord on the street corners, highways and hedges, and on the internet preaching the truth of Yahweh Shem Hashai, the 100% truth, they speak evil of it because they can't understand it. They've been, they're in utter darkness, by the philosophy of the enemy of Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, and other heathen nations, that they can't understand the truth of Yahweh Shem Hashai at all. Jeremiah 28, verse 8. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms, of war and of evil and of pestilence. So the scoffers and the mockers don't understand that there's prophets before, prophesying of kingdom's downfall. So it's not any different now. Every nation has to fall. America is not special, so it will fall too. Because we know that Yahweh Shem Hashai exists. We know that a higher power, a higher intelligence exists. And we know that a false balance is an abomination to the Lord, as the scripture says. So we know America can't go on forever. But what these scoffers and mockers don't understand is they see prophets on the street corners, on the internet, all that prophesying the end. They think there's just, from the scoffers' perspective, they think it's just people that are out of their mind, bugged out, not knowing what they're talking about. But scoffers don't understand reincarnation. Scoffers don't understand that kingdoms reincarnate, people reincarnate, and scenarios reincarnate. All throughout the scriptures, scenarios, people, and kingdoms reincarnate. So this is the same thing again. When the prophets show up on the scene, that's the end. That's it. It's not going to be, for another 1,000 years, another 100 years, as some people would say. Nah, man, once the prophets show up, that's it. It's a wrap. But they don't understand reincarnation. That's why, the scoffers and the mockers and those who don't understand the truth, can't understand it. It's ultimately Yahweh Shah didn't give them the understanding to understand that, this is his reincarnation all over again. Nothing new under the sun, as it would say in Ecclesiastes 1 verse 9, pretty sure. And go to Jeremiah 28 verse 9. The prophet which prophesied of peace, when the word of the prophet shall come to pass, then shall the prophet be known that the Lord Yahweh, Mashiach, has truly sent him. So the people who prophesy of peace, people are going to be looking at them like, what the heck? I thought you prophesied of peace, because there is no peace coming to the earth. It's only destruction and judgment. As it says in the scriptures, the slain, Salaki. Basically, the slain of the Lord will be many, as it says in the scriptures, on the day of the Lord. So it won't be any peace. Yahweh Shai said himself, he didn't come to bring peace on the earth. He came to bring a sword and judgment. So the prophets who are the prophets of doom, who prophesy of doom, when all doom comes, then they'll know who the true prophets were. In 2nd Esdras 15, starting at verse 1, behold, speak thou the ears of my people, the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Fear not the imaginations against thee, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. So that's all. So to the 2/3 of our people, the scoffers and mockers, and the heathen nations, we're not supposed to worry about what they say against the truth, because we know that Yahweh Shai told us that all the unfaithful will die in their unfaithfulness. That's just what it is. If you don't believe the truth, you don't believe in the doctrine of Yahweh Shai, you're just gonna die. It is what it is. We can't do nothing about that. All we can do is, push out the truth of Yahweh Shai and, warn people, warn the Israelites, because this book isn't for the heathen nations. It's only for the Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. It's only for them. And 2/3 of our people are not going to make it because they just don't believe it. Yahweh Shai didn't give them the understanding to get it. These times that we're in. So we're not supposed to be worried about, what they say or do against us, because at the end of the day, it's not going to matter. Once prophecy fulfills, once it comes, once it actually starts, happen and manifest before our eyes, everyone will shut up. Literally, everyone will shut up and have to deal with it, because it's going to affect the entire world. 2 Peter 3, starting verse 10, but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with a fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. That's that second death. It's those ICBM missiles hitting Babylon the Great and, Israel and, more parts of the world. But the whole earth is not going to get destroyed. Verse 11, seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons are ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness? So as the hopeful elect, we're occupied in these scriptures, in what's going on in the world, watching prophecy with a close eye, because Yahweh Shai himself told us to watch, because you don't know when he's going to come back. So we're watching all these signs and prophecies are being fulfilled before our very eyes. And we're departing spiritually first from Babylon the Great. And then after we, spiritually depart, after the hopeful elect spiritually departs from Babylon the Great, then they'll physically depart from Babylon the Great. And, the elect scattered across the world, they'll also depart from the world by getting beamed up into the chariots. Lord willingly, we be of that number. Verse 12, looking for and hasting unto the coming the day of power wherein the heavens, being on fire, shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. So, hey, that's those ICBM missiles melting the elements on the earth with fervent heat. Verse 13. Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and a new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness. That's what the hopeful elect are looking for. Looking for a new earth, new heavens, where Yahweh, the Messiah, is ruling with the 144,000 under him. So the earth can actually, we can actually live and not be surviving in this wickedness. This earth is through. The hopeful elect can see that this earth is through. It's not living, it's through. So much nonsense you have to go through down here. Verse 14. Wherefore, beloved, seeing that ye look for such things, be diligent that ye may be found of him in peace, without spot and blameless. So, we're watching, the hopeful elect, we're watching, every day in these scriptures, prophesying, warning, whether that be highways and hedges, or in these videos, we're warning the Israelites, because that's who this book is for. That's who the Bible is for, the Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and the Israelites scattered that may look like the heathen nations, but their seed line goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So, we're hastening the day of Yahweh Shem Shai, so we could get up out of here and stop being oppressed by, this wickedness on the earth. All right, with that, I want to say, call Allah, all glory, honor, and praise due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. I want to give double honors to my elders and apostles of Great Millstone who teach and were well. And I want to say peace and citations to the hopeful elect out there. Lord willingly, that was an edifying lesson. I pray that was an edifying lesson. And with that, I want to say shalom.